What do the games Max Payne, Gitaroo Man, and SSX Tricky all have in common? These three amazing games were all reviewed back in 2001, but they were not that year's best games. At least, not according to Next Generation Magazine, who gave all three of these undisputed classics 4 stars out of 5. Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, Next Generation gave 21 different games a higher score than Grand Theft Auto 3. I'm talking about the perfect 5-star rating. And today we're going to go through all of these reviews to see what makes them worthy of that coveted prize. This is Next Generation's 5-star reviews, and these are the 21 best games of 2001, and a little of 2002.
Well, I only play for the fighting. I appreciate the expansive multi-tier environments and the 16 characters with the pixel shading bump mapping and the rich plot development. Seriously, why else would I play it? She kicks eye. Rated T for teen.
Alright, up first in number 1, we have Battle of Britain on PC. In an era of lightweight arcade simulations, Rowan's Battle of Britain is nearly everything a dedicated flight sim junkie could wish for. A pixel-perfect recreation of the struggle between Britain's Royal Air Force and the seemingly unstoppable Luftwaffe, this is one flight simulation that never falters when it comes to providing a realistic, exceptionally satisfying World War II experience. Rowan has managed to strike a perfect balance between realism and gameplay, capturing the same sense of aerial excitement that made their previous game, MiG Alley, so perfectly enthralling. While the truly hardcore may find a nit or two to pick, for the most part, Battle of Britain's winning combination of accurate physics, sneaky AI, and immersive visuals is more than anyone could ask for. Number 2, Black and White on PC. Like one of those artsy films that the Europeans are always coming up with, Black and White doesn't so much entertain you as impress the hell out of you. Perhaps, say, 20 years from now, when video games have firmly established themselves as a legitimate art form, we'll be able to say with a straight face that Black and White was a brilliant work of romantic pantheism. But for now, we'll just say that it kicks much ass. With its amazing graphics and physics, superb AI, excellent sound, and ingenious interface, Black and White is a completely absorbing experience. While most games continue to slumber in a moral adolescence where the consequences of action are routinely ignored, our slowly maturing industry could use more thoughtful and engrossing titles like this one. Number 3, Dead or Alive 2 Hardcore on PlayStation 2. You know, you've really gotta hand it to the Dead or Alive 2 team at Tecmo. We doubt they've gotten much sleep for something like 3 years. DOA 2 on Dreamcast was a phenomenal game, placing it only slightly behind Namco's powerhouse Soul Calibur as the best looking, best playing fighting game for the system. The Japanese PlayStation 2 release was not only a superior first effort on a new system, but the team took the additional 3 months that had passed since the Dreamcast release to add in numerous extras, like new costumes and animating the characters on the select screen. And so we come to the US PlayStation 2 release, and guess what? Tecmo has used the 6 months since the Japanese release to add even more stuff and tweak what was already there, making this the best looking, most fully featured, most packed with extras version of one of the best fighting games ever made. Buy it. Period. Number 4, Dead or Alive 3 on Xbox. Dead or Alive 3 is by far the best looking home video game we've ever seen. The characters are drop-dead gorgeous in every sense of the word. The backgrounds are incredibly detailed, and the fast and fluid animation outclasses all but the best Hollywood has to offer. This game is more than a pretty face though. It also delivers some of the most balanced and exciting gameplay ever seen in a 3D fighter. The game's only weakness is its single-player game, which offers virtually no cohesive story and little in the way of bells and whistles, with one of the most pointlessly frustrating boss battles ever. But then, the single-player mode is really just the side salad to the sumptuous fighting feast. And in all important regards, DOA 3 practically defines the phrase killer app. It's fast, it's deep, and it's so beautiful that it almost hurts. What more could you want? Number 5, Fear Effect 2 Retro Helix on PlayStation. The original Fear Effect was one of the most undeservedly neglected games of last year. An action-adventure in the mold of Resident Evil, it had its problems, and we're overjoyed to report that Fear Effect 2 not only maintains a firm grasp on what made the original so enjoyable, but also nearly manages to eliminate the annoyances. Everyone who's mature enough to appreciate it and owns a PlayStation should buy this. You will not be disappointed. Now, sequel please. Number 6, Gran Turismo 3 on PlayStation 2. If Gran Turismo 3 does anything truly and dramatically new, it's that it provides a real sense of place. Make no mistake, this is a souped-up remix of the original games in terms of structure and content. But the new graphics engine makes it so much more than the sum of its parts. That's why it deserves the nomenclature 3, since this was originally intended to be a half-step to a true PlayStation 2 sequel. Gran Turismo 3 provides a stunning graphical experience, a wealth of technical simulation, and even the simple, vital fun of multiplayer racing. All this in a game that spans racing genres, redefines technical excellence, and finally shows off the PlayStation 2 to full effect. It's almost fortunate that it didn't ship with the launch system. The initial shortages were bad enough, this might have created a national disaster. Number 7, Halo Combat Evolved on Xbox. It may have taken over 3 years, but sometimes the wait is worth it. Let's keep this simple. Halo is one of the best games you'll ever play, period. What makes this game so instantly memorable is its perfect blend of finely tuned action and smart storytelling. It's the attention to detail that really makes the game stand out. From sandy beaches to snowy valleys, the surface of Halo is visually breathtaking. And about halfway through, when you might start feeling a certain sameness about the action, you're thrown a couple of wrenching plot twists that completely change everything. If you didn't think there was a reason to buy an Xbox, Halo will change your mind.
Gran Turismo 3 PlayStation 2から
PlayStation.
And we're back with number 8, Madden NFL 2002 on Xbox. While the Xbox version of the latest incarnation of EA Sports' hardy perennial is nothing more than a straight port from PS2, it's still a straight port of a fantastic football game. The smooth yet precise control that has made Madden football a standout for years is still here, along with new animations that make the receptions look even more realistic. The Xbox controller works just fine too, although we did find the upper black and white buttons to be a little too out of the way to be as useful as we would have liked. Madden NFL 2002 is slightly better than last year's, or even this year's, excellent PlayStation 2 version. It's hard to find much fault in this outstanding effort. Number 9, Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty on PlayStation 2. No other game in history has received the kind of overwhelming hype enjoyed by Metal Gear Solid 2. Given that, you'd almost expect the game to disappoint on some level. Sadly, for all the critics out there, it doesn't. From the graphics, to the gameplay, to the storyline, Metal Gear Solid 2 is a shining example of what a video game can be. It's simply one of the most ambitious projects ever created, and it's one heck of a great ride. And if you thought that the countless previews, cover stories, and movie trailers were gonna spoil the experience, think again. The only thing you should expect is the unexpected. Great action, an enthralling story, and plenty of surprises make this the PlayStation 2 game to get this holiday season. Number 10, Metropolis Street Racer on Dreamcast. This game was announced before Dreamcast was even launched in the US, and it shows up with a lot of expectations in tow. Metropolis Street Racer is nothing less than a brilliant, innovative, and seriously fun driving game. MSR places the emphasis on fun as well as physics. It uses a point system in which you're rewarded for finishing the race with speed and style. Winning is a question of not only going fast, but stylishly skidding into a turn as you do. Innovative, fast, and fun, MSR is an excellent addition to the Dreamcast library of racers. Number 11, MindRover, the Europa project on PC. With the creation of MindRover, the Europa project, Cognitoys has added a glittering jewel to the Robot Wars genre. A 3D strategy and programming game, MindRover challenges players to design and program robotic vehicles and compete in different scenarios such as races and combat. The graphics are a bit dated and the sound effects limited, but neither are so bad that they detract from the overall appeal. Not even Carnage Heart was this good. A truly amazing title for anyone looking for something unique and challenging. Number 12, NCAA Football 2002 on PlayStation 2. Poor Tiburon Studios. The Orlando, Florida-based developer toils quietly down there in the humidity while making the Madden and NCAA Football titles for EA Sports. Those games don't make magazine covers and blow out previews. But the simple fact is that last year's Madden Football 2001 for PlayStation 2 was one of the best sports games made on any platform. So it really is no surprise that NCAA Football 2002 is another brilliant and near flawless football game. Quite simply, this game has everything a college fan would want. From the option plays to the top 25 rankings to the 26 bowl games to the Heisman Award at the end of the season. It's awesome! Number 13, NFL Fever 2002 on Xbox. When we first saw NFL Fever 2002 up at Microsoft some months ago, we privately snickered at the game's ugly textures and clunky animation. We thought it was gonna be terrible. Oh, how we were wrong. NFL Fever 2002 is simply a superb football game, and in almost every respect is the equal to Madden NFL 2002 and NFL 2K2. Graphically, however, it's superior to both, with the textures on the field looking particularly amazing. The player models are terrific, and the attention to detail extends from the Jumbotron right down to the stretching mesh on the players' uniforms. Fever might be the out-of-nowhere system seller that NFL 2K1 was for the Dreamcast. Number 14, Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64. It's been entirely too long since Nintendo has graced us with a solid Mario game, but we're happy to report that this game was well worth the wait. Paper Mario is a superb RPG and a worthy sequel to one of the Super Nintendo's greatest achievements. Nearly every aspect is done to perfection, but the fighting system and story progression are Paper Mario's greatest strengths. Despite the childish appearance, it's simply one of the best RPGs ever, and definitely the best RPG available on the Nintendo 64. Even if you've only been buying games for the newer systems, this is a must-buy. Give it a chance, you won't regret it.
Help!
Mario's back in a new adventure. He has new friends with special abilities. He has new enemies with funky attacks. But will he save the princess?
Help!
Find out in Paper Mario!
Rated E for everyone.
And we're back with number 15, Phantasy Star Online for PlayStation 2. After spending countless hours duking it out against hordes of alien monsters while chatting with gamers from every country, we're satisfied that Phantasy Star Online is worth every bit of its hype, even if it's not without a few chinks in its role-playing armor. However, not one of those snags diminishes the genuine appeal and satisfying addictive gameplay. As a testament to Sega's talented developers and Sonic Team's savvy gaming know-how, Phantasy Star Online is a title that shouldn't be ignored. It's flawed, but absolutely phenomenal. Reason enough to mourn the Dreamcast passing with an online wake. Number 16, Sid Meier's Civilization 3 on PC. It's doubtful that any other PC game series is as hallowed as Sid Meier's Civilization. In each installment, your goal is nothing less than to grow a civilization from the Stone Age to the Space Age, and they are, quite simply, the finest strategy games ever made. After much legal wrangling with Activision and others, Civilization 3 is finally here. As expected, given the series' 5-year hiatus, changes to the gameplay are quite numerous and varied. However, while there are plenty of gameplay tweaks, Civ veterans will find that they don't affect one's classic strategies. The changes mostly seem to increase your options for trying new strategies without really altering the core games. And actually, that's a brilliant approach. Keep it familiar, then increase the strategic possibilities. Number 17, Sudden Strike on PC. You've gotta hand it to those crafty Germans. Coming from practically nowhere, CDV offers up Sudden Strike, a World War II real-time strategy game that'll rock you back on your heels with its blazing blitzkrieg action. Think Red Alert, but without the resource management, tank building, and mineral harvesting. This one is also much grander in scale. The fighting is bloody and ferocious from beginning to end. There's no easy victories here. Many seemingly impossible battles that have you shaking your head in frustration, but you're gonna love every minute, guaranteed. Number 18, Test Drive Le Mans on Dreamcast. Let's get the bad stuff out of the way first. The music is so-so, the interface barely suffices, and we'd like to have more car customization capabilities. That said, everything else is absolutely perfect. What makes this game is the control. Unlike most simmy games, you can actually feel when you're about to lose it, so you don't randomly spin all the time. Add in the incredibly long Le Mans track and awesome AI, and you have a game that keeps you engrossed for hours at a stretch. It may be the best reproduction of the actual feel of a marathon racer ever. Number 19, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 on PlayStation 2. If we've learned one thing about the video games industry in this new millennium, it's that we should never underestimate Neversoft's ability to evolve the Tony Hawk series. As much as Pro Skater 2 improved on the original, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 makes even more significant strides. And, just like its predecessor, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 outshines every title in the PS2's current library. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 suffers from no serious faults, although the soundtrack is arguably weaker than the previous entries. In any case, this in no way diminishes the game's overall quality. If you've never played any of the other games in this series, you owe it to yourself to pick up a copy of this gem immediately. Number 20, Tribes 2 on PC. When the original Tribes came out inconspicuously at the end of 1998, it started a quiet revolution. Equipping every player with jump jets, combined with enormous indoor-outdoor maps and useful, distinctive player classes, Tribes became an almost instant classic. After many delays, Tribes 2 has finally been released, and it was well worth the wait. Instead of going in a different direction or simply adding more maps and a new weapon or two, Dynamics has recreated the original game from scratch and crowded it with new items and features. It's not terribly friendly towards newbies, and the system requirements are a bit stiff, but wow! There's nothing else this incredibly good for team-based multiplayer mayhem. And finally, number 21, Twisted Metal Black on PlayStation 2. We've returned to the Twisted Metal tournament, but it's not what we remember. This is Twisted Metal Black, both a sequel to and a departure from the PlayStation series. The gameplay dynamics that were laid out in the first two Twisted Metal games have returned, but the atmosphere is forcefully, even demandingly gothic. It's not possible anymore to just pick up a controller and ignore the world around you. This time, everyone's gonna have to wallow in the darkness. It's in the story mode, with its bloody touches, haunting soundtrack, and abundance of homicidal killers, that you'll experience the full impact of Twisted Metal as something more graphic, disturbing, and artistic than anything that's come before it. Let the dripping blood and laughing clowns ring in a new age in game design.
Rated M for mature.
Twisted Metal Black.
Hey, thanks for watching the series finale of Next Generation's 5-star reviews. If you liked what you saw here, then you should know that we have a whole playlist that looks at all of these 5-star reviews, including the Next Generation's 1-star reviews. And let me tell you, they're way meaner and snarkier than these 5-star reviews. You're gonna love them. And also, I want to just take a moment here and thank everybody who watched all of these episodes and hung out with us during this holiday series. With this video, I'm officially done with 2022, and I can't wait to see what next year brings us. Now, here's the question I have for you. What is your favorite game of 2001? Is it one of these games that Next Generation loved, or did they sleep on your favorite games? Let me see your picks in the comments below. We'll be back next year with more reviews and a whole new magazine series. If that sounds good to you, then I strongly recommend you click that subscribe button and support what we're doing here. Until then.